Hey, what's up, guys? It's been a while since I've been on here, but today we're going to talk about sales, tech sales, sell or be sold. So, just a disclaimer at the beginning of this video, it's probably going to be around 10-15 minutes long because I'm really going to get into just some things that I've been working on, such as like, is a tech sales boot camp worth it? Getting into tech sales. I'm not in tech sales myself just yet, but I did sign up for a tech sales boot camp to become a sales development representative, which leads to becoming an account executive. So, but yeah, let's get into it. So, first and foremost, I'm a big fan of this guy. I've talked about him a lot on my channel, just because of the fact that the way he's able to sell is very good. I got his hat on, cash flow. If you guys already know, it's Grant Cardone, right? So, basically, he wrote a book called Sell or Be Sold. This is this one right here, and it really changes your thinking about sales. There's other guys like Zig Ziglar, or there's another guy, I forget his name, but he wrote a pretty decent book on sales. But let's get into the book real quick, and then we're going to talk about some other things. Let's see here. So he has a pretty decent preface in here. Chapter one is selling is a way of life. Selling is a prerequisite for life, right? Selling is a prerequisite for life. That's very true. You need to learn how to sell. You need to know how to negotiate. I think I did a video about this maybe a few months back, maybe about a year ago, but I'm just rehashing what I did in that video, just because selling is, something that I'm very passionate about. The commission. So the commission is very important because a lot of people don't understand that selling is a way of life. You need to be a salesman, but selling is also a great profession. And he talks about in the book Sales or College. I would say get you a sales job at 18 versus going to college, because college is one of those things where it's like, if it's not a STEM degree, you're not really, which is, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. If it's not going to get you a six-figure job, then you're just wasting your time, right? So the commission is the payoff for everything in life, right? So, for example, if you want to get a girl to like you, you ask that girl out. Hopefully, she likes you, right? That's the commission. She may become your wife one day. That's the commission in getting that girl to like you. So the next part is beware of false data, right? I agree with this just because of the fact that beware of false data is very, very, how do you explain it? People believe false things, and their perception is not going to be your perception, especially in the area of sales. Selling critical to survival. You need to know how to sell. You need to know how to sell yourself in interviews. I've done over, in the last probably a year, I've done over 30 or 40 interviews. And the one thing that I've learned, and I've done 10 to 12 different interview preps. And the one thing that I know is that interviewing is a skill. And a lot of people don't want to go through the grind of getting a job, right? It's a really hard grind to get a remote job. So let's see. Uh, sales Salespeople make the world go round. Salespeople drive economies. They do, right? Salespeople do drive economies. You need a salesman. They say God. He says in the book that God or the devil need salesmen. So salespeople do drive economies. Sales or college. Like I said, I would say get a sales job instead of go to college. All professional rely on sales. All professions rely on sales. Excuse me. Every single enterprise, every single company has a sales team, right? Doesn't matter if it's ADT, if it's Google, Microsoft, all these big tech companies, they have a sales team. Chapter three is professional or amateur. Are you a professional salesman? What that means is not being a sleazy salesman. It's just understanding and knowing that you need to be a professional, not an amateur, right? He says in the book that professionals may have a little bit of dip of in their numbers, because let's be honest here, sales is about reaching a quota and your numbers. It's a numbers game. It's the law of averages. It's the same thing with dating, you know. So make sure that you're becoming a professional as a salesman. Let's see. The great shortage. There is a great shortage of salespeople. because not a lot of people want to get into this profession, right? When I was selling solar, I was number 4 in the district that I was out of maybe about 20 people, and basically, it's a shortage of salespeople, right? Because not a lot of people. Some people they just want to work on a computer and make money. Other people want to become very, very good at what they do. So sales to me is the best route to reach 6 figures and to reach the goal that you're trying to reach. Let's see. Chapter 4, the greats. You need to have commitment. You need to have commitment, and he also talks about conviction, right? You need to be committed to this lifestyle. You need to be committed to, understanding what it means to be a salesman. There's some great movies like Glengarry Glen Ross or Boiler Room, The Wolf of Wall Street. You need to know how to sell and sell well. I also like Jordan Belfort. He gets a lot of slack because he did some bad things, but the guy is a great salesman. So I like him too. Greener pastures. Greener pastures. Just because, somebody else is doing something on the other side doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be great. So that means that you need to stay where you're at. If you're not at a tech company for 2 years, you need to stay there so you can build that camaraderie and different things like that. Then if you want to move, you can move. But you want to be consistent in staying where you're at, right? You want to move up the company ladder, because a lot of salespeople, they don't stay. They go from company to company like I did, and it just didn't work out. So the next thing he talks about is the power of prediction. You have to predict the sale, right? You have to know what the rebuttals and what people are going to respond and reply to. Let's see. The only reason you're not selling as a career in life is because you're not selling. That's the number one thing. If you're not selling, you're not going to like sales. It's like a surgeon. If he's not saving lives, he's not going to like being a surgeon, right? So you have to, actually sell and actually perform. To qualify as great. To qualify as great, I think that you have to be a great salesman. You have to be willing to get out there and do the things that you know are necessary for you to be successful. The most important sale, I'm going to fly through this because this is a big book, but the most important sale is yourself. It's not the product. And you're also in the people business. You're not in the selling business. So understanding and knowing that you are in the people business. You are in the business that people are coming to you to see if a product. Alec Baldwin, he's a controversial figure right now, but Alec Baldwin and Glengarry Glen Ross, the only good movie he has, said that if they walk on a lot they want to buy. That's literally 110%, right? The price myth. It's not about price. Grant talks about first money and second money, right? Have you ever bought a product and then they offer you all these different benefits of that product? Well, that's second money. That's what you need to go after. You need to go after the second money. So you need to upsell after you have sold what they want to do. It's like somebody that goes and gets a travel brochure. They go on the Caribbean, let's say they're going to the Caribbean on a cruise. They bought the cruise, but now they want all these perks. That's how you need to learn that you need to know how to sell, right? Let's see. Your buyer's money. There is no shortage of money, right? We live in a world where there's an abundance of money. If there's a shortage of money, they're just going to print more, right? That's where inflation. That's why we're in this inflation crisis right now, is because money changes people. So if you're an asshole before having money, you're going to be an asshole when you have money. Just it is what it is, right? You are in the people business. Like I said before, you're in the people business, not in the selling business. The magic of agreement. You agree with the customer. Don't argue with them. Just agree with them, right? And then go for your sale, right? Agree with them and say, you're absolutely right, but here is a different perspective, right? Here's why this product is good for you. Establishing trust. Establishing trust is huge, right? He says, always agree with, no, sorry. Show, don't tell. Prospects make sales. Salespeople do. Credibility. Increase sales. How to handle the buyer's distrust. You handle the buyer's distrust by getting curiously engaged about what they want. You don't go in there and start talking about the product. You ask them questions on why they're there. And so the next one is give, give, give. If you're holding on to your money, you need to be a giver, because that's going to show in your sales. So, he talks about that in the book. The next thing is, this is chapter 12, the hard sell. Closing is like a recipe. You need to know how to close. Closing is huge. But that's why sometimes you'll get a job like an SDR. You'll learn the pitch that your sales manager wants to give you. And then from there, you become an account executive and you're closing deals. It's your job to get on that phone and to close that deal, right? One of my friends who's in sales, he says you need a tangible product. I do agree with that in some aspects. But if you're selling tech, or if you're selling solar, or if you're selling any other thing, you need to know how to close. You need to know how to close the sale. Chapter 13, massive action, right? He talks about that in the 10X rule, right? Massive action. If you're having problems with not selling, you're not taking enough action, right? This includes myself, right? The power base. The power base is people that you know, right? So if you're selling a product and your power base is the people that are in your friends, family, network, right? That's why I say get on LinkedIn and try to get 500 plus connections. Right now, I think I'm at 363, right? So people are adding me all the time, and I accept if it's not a scam, I accept their request because I'm increasing my network. Your network is your net worth, right? Time. How much time are you wasting, right? You're going to lunch for an hour, right? You could be making calls, and you could do a 30-minute lunch, right? And from there, you'll be able to get more done. Attitude. Attitude is I would say, is probably the biggest thing, right? Your attitude in sales is going to come off in your approach, in what you're doing. Your tonality, how enthusiastic you are. All these different things are very, very important when you're trying to make a sale. If you come off as super monotone and not wanting to be enthusiastic about your product, you're not going to sell. You have to be extroverted in this game, right? That's kind of hard for me because I've considered myself introverted, but in actuality, I'm actually extroverted. I love being around people. I love people, right? Chapter 17, he said the biggest sell of his life. He talks about meeting his wife, right? How that was the biggest sell for him. The perfect sales process. Let's get this started. Step 1 is to greet. Step 2 is determine wants and needs. So you need to determine the wants and needs of the customer. Step 3, select the product and present and build value. So build value and where you need to build value with your product, right? Build the value of your product according to maybe the script that your sales manager gives you. Let's see, make proposal and close the deal and exit. So you make a proposal, you say, hey, here's the price. It's $3,000. This is why I think you should have this product. This is why I think, this product will be good for you. And then you close the deal. You close them, and then you exit. He also has a closer survival guide, which is a great book. I used to have that book. I'm collecting his books again. Chapter 19, ask yourself 3 questions. Be honest with yourself. Never justify failure. You cannot justify failure. If you failed to get that sale, it's not the customer's fault. It's your fault, right? Because you didn't ask them the right questions. Quality questions get you quality answers. Tony Robbins, for sure. Also, I think I forget the course name, but Tony Robbins has a sales course too, which is really good. Create a social media presence. And then in chapter 22, he gives quick tips to deal with all the things that you may normally deal with in a sales presentation, which is rejection, negative surroundings, discipline, the economy, competition, product knowledge, follow-up, organization, call reluctance, filling the pipeline, closing the deal, calls not returned, fear, people, emotions. All these different things are going to happen in your sales journey. You have to understand that this is a journey. Everybody wants to be successful, but not go through the journey. So you have to go through the journey. And that's pretty much it. The final 2 is cold calling, prospecting, commissions, long hours, traits of a great salesperson. So that's the overview of sell or be sold, right? Now, tech sales, right? It doesn't matter what product you're selling. right? You have to believe in that product. You have to be the one that says, okay, I like this product. This is a good product. I want it to be, you know, a part of what I want to do. If you want residual income for a lifetime, this is something that one of my mentors told me, is get into insurance sales, because that's a lifetime commission. And then, but tech sales is a little bit different because you're selling a software that, excuse me, that company needs, right? So you're selling software, you're selling, you know, different things about that product. Let's say you're selling something for Salesforce. You know, Salesforce is cloud computing. You probably want to know, what is cloud computing. You know, what is SaaS software, right? Software as a service. You know, you need to know these things to get into tech. Okay, and I also said I was going to talk about a tech sales boot camp. I think it's important for you to go through a tech sales boot camp, just because of the fact that now I'm not rationalizing my own decision, maybe. But here's the reason why you want to go through one: is because you may not know what you need to know when you become an SDR, when you become a sales development representative, when you may not know how to master cold calling. You may not know how to close the deal. So whatever product you're selling, you need to master it. So in a boot camp is really great to learn those different things. They cost a little money, but it's worth it, right? So tech sales to me is the best, because you're selling a software and everybody is getting into it. You know, tech is not going anywhere. It's not like technology is going to slow down. If you see the world around you, technology is ramping up. I'm talking to you on a laptop on YouTube. There's millions of YouTube videos that's going to teach you about sales, right? So how to be successful in sales. Learn some acronyms like Fuji, fear of loss, urgency, greed, and indifference. Learn a good sales cycle and a good sales process, right? That's why I really encourage you to read that book. Zig Ziglar has a good book. I read that a long time ago, but you know, it's all about cash flow. It's all about increasing your income to build a better life for yourself. That's what you're supposed to do. So that's really all I have, guys. I tried to keep this video under 20 minutes, and I did. So, but sell or be sold. Get out there and sell. Make selling a profession, right? Stay consistent. Don't quit, like I have, you know, and I'm coming back to sales. Don't quit. Keep going. Stay consistent. It's gonna get hard. It's gonna get tough. You're gonna feel like, man, why does nobody wanna sell my product? You have to get to a lot of no's. Go for no to get to a yes, right? You may have to talk to 100 people. That's why a lot of these sales jobs have you make 100 calls a day, because they know that you're gonna get a lot of no's, right? So that's the hard part, is keeping the right attitude, right? Don't have a crappy attitude. Just say, okay, I'm gonna roll with the punches. If you need to take a break, you know, to go walk around the building, do that. If you need to go on your lunch break, do it, right? You know, you deserve that. So know how to sell or be sold. Get out there and sell, and don't quit. Take care, guys. That's all that I have for this video. And I'm gonna post more. I'm gonna try to post more. I'm probably gonna post maybe about once a month, you know, and to have some more ideas. But it's gonna be called Sell or Be Sold Part 2, and how to get into tech sales. All right, guys, take care. Oh, also too, there's some different programs that you can do to do a sales boot camp. I'm not gonna say the one that I did, but there's Course Careers, there's Elevate, there's Fuel Sales, all these different selling group boot camps that you can get into in order to get into tech sales. All right, guys, take care. Have a great day.